Hey guys, what's up? Force here. We're about to go into an interview with Jay Wilson.
And David Adams?
I believe so, yeah. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
All right, guys.
Sweet.
After you, sir.
David Adams, I'm the lead level designer.
Jay Wilson, game director.
Okay. Now, since we were just talking about the Runestone system, has there been any updates? I mean, I know that we saw on the Diablo III item, database website page thing that.
Change in distribution.
Yeah, on the front of the runes, it looks like 1, 2, and 3 are normal Nightmare, or 1 through 4. I'm sorry, is normal through Inferno, and then 5, 6, and 7 they're kind of just off to the side. Like, what's going on with that?
5, 6, and 7 we're talking about making in-game. I would say the progression is really of where they're going to show up. We don't know yet. The last time we talked, I was talking about a new system.
Right.
That new system is in the game now, and as we like to say, the old system was pretty good, but it had some particular things that were not great about it. We're a little bit more dramatic in how we talk internally, so I'd say internally we said, oh, this stuff is horrible. So the new system basically just has different kinds of horrible things in it than the old system. And so we're not really happy with it, and we're probably not going to, we're not going to keep it as is.
The unattuned system that grabs itself onto a spell, basically, that's going to change.
Are we going to have some kind of version of it? Maybe, maybe not. The basic problems that we ran into were mostly inventory issues. We kind of thought it would feel like items, like if you get a piece of chest armor, and it's better than your chest armor, you just throw out the armor you previously had. We kind of thought it was going to work like that, and we got it in, and it didn't work like that at all. Like, you just kept every rune that you got, and your inventory exploded to insanity. There were some good things about it, but that we felt was a bad enough problem that we do need to solve it. So we could solve it with just having some kind of management system, inventory-wide, or we could change the system. But we're not sure exactly how we're going to change it yet. That's really kind of the only system that I think is in major flux. Everything else is pretty solid.
And a little bit more on that. What exactly is in the game right now? I know that at the last BlizzCon you kind of gave us you said that wasn't really in the game yet. You guys were kind of still tossing around ideas. So is it just that, is it exactly an unattuned system, just like gray unattuned runes drop, and then...
Everything's in the game.
We pop and swap it into a skill?
Like the game? What's it? How is it? Yeah, the way
I'm just asking how it works.
Oh, how it works? Basically.
Because like last time we talked, you said that you were everything was kind of still up in the air and nothing was certain yet.
Yeah. The way it works now is you get an unattuned rune, you pop it into the skill, it attunes to the skill, and chooses its upgrade, and it adds item affixes to it.
Okay.
That's the system that's in the game right now, and we like some things about it. Yeah. We like the item affixes, that works pretty well. The discovery point was pretty fun. Like, when you put it in and you saw what you got, that has pros and cons, but we overall thought it was good, but not strong enough to overwhelm the inventory issues.
Okay, and now something that I was personally worried about, and I'm pretty sure I was telling you this at the press event, was that when you pop in an unattuned rune, what if I want the effect of a crimson rune, and I constantly keep getting obsidian, or alabaster or whatever, and I never get the crimson that I want. Is that?
It's not a big problem because we were able to tune the drop rate to a level where it felt like you were getting a sufficient number of runes that you could get the one you wanted.
So enough would On that note, I thought that the level 7 runes were supposed to be really rare and unique. Is that?
Well, we started altering the rarity to support the system.
Okay then. All right.
The rarity came from getting because you could get a crimson one, for example, if that's what you're seeking, fairly easily, but getting a crimson one with the exact stats you wanted, that was harder.
Right.
But that felt okay. Like, it felt kind of like you're searching for a really good sword or a really good shard.
Right, exactly.
It had the same kind of feel. So it worked. But is it beneficial enough for us to keep a system that has other issues? We're not sure yet. So whether we keep it or not.
So do you have any plans on where you might move on from here with the Runestone system?
At this point, I don't want to comment because they're not solidified enough.
It's understandable.
So it's always risky to share systems that are in flux. But that's really that was really the only one. There's things I really liked about the old system. I'm trying to figure out how to get the things, and I shouldn't say because I'm not the only person working on it, but we're trying to find a way to get back what we liked about the previous system. The primary one being that you had a little bit more control over what you were going to get. Although you didn't, but it felt better at the moment of like making the choice felt a little better, and the inventory was not a problem with the old system. But the affixes of this system and the discovery point, it feels good. So we're trying to kind of combine those two things together. But
okay.
The thing is about these systems, like the previous system was probably good enough to ship. The current system's probably good enough to ship. These are not the things.
At this point, anything's good enough.
These are not the things that are really holding like these are. That's a system that's in flux, but it's in flux because we have the time to work on it while other things are finishing up.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at. I know those things seem like, oh, that must be what's holding us back, but actually, no. We just kind of are having the luxury that the group that can work on that has the time to work on that. So it means that we have the chance to kind of make it, change it, improve it. But it's not really the kind of final thing that we're finishing up. That's mostly kind of game-wide polish, bug fixing, and some technology, online technology, and things like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I was actually going to move on to last we talked, you were still kind of in flux as to how the hardcore arena death was going to work. Have there been any updates on that as to whether it's going to be permanent death? Are we going to be like the normal system and maybe have a separate dueling mode, or any updates on that at all?
The PvP team feels that it's too punishing to have you die permanently. That basically they think no one will play hardcore arenas.
Gladiator battle.
What about that one annex in the corner of Sanctuary where we can go to duel if desired?
If that does not happen for ship, it will happen someday.
Yeah,
I promise it, because that's something I really want. But it's become a lower priority.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I say the PvP team because it's their decision. Like we have a strike team that works on PvP, and there's a lot of different parts of the game, and we like all the different groups to own their part of the game. And I don't think they made the wrong choice because I think they're right.
The attrition would be too high.
I think that I think the idea is glorious, but that they're right. No one would actually play it, and so an idea is only glorious if players participate in the idea. But I still want players to be able to kill the crap out of each other permanently, and so I want us to find a way to do that.
I have a quick question, and so in the beta, if you hit, I think it's G by default, the character goes into like some crazy battle rage something or other, and then it drops your flag, your banner. What is that all about? Or is that just to drop the banner and make your character look awesome?
It's for fun.
Okay, because I saw some people speculating, oh, this might be a dual flag and this and that. Although I mean,
no, we just did it. We just did it for fun. In World of Warcraft, when you're standing around, you're bored, and lots of other games, you jump.
Dance.
Or you dance.
Right.
Well, we didn't want dancing. It didn't feel Diablo.
Yeah.
And we have no jump button. So we were like, we've got this banner thing. It'd be really cool if we could put it in the world.
Well, it's an opportunity to show that, to showcase that your banner. Now you can just pop that out whenever you want and just be like, hey, check out all the stuff I did, mine's all upgraded and yours is all. So you just give them something cool to do.
Okay.
Mine's all upgraded and yours is all
So I think currently a lot of people, while we wait for the early 2012 release as of now, are just wondering about the beta. Now, there's been a lot of updates that have come through on the website in terms of spell changes to the Witch Doctor and the Wizard, and the resource system change. Do you guys have plans to incorporate that into the beta, the beta that's currently taking place, or is that all staying in-house until release? Are you going to go along with the development, basically?
Do you know?
I do not know.
Okay. Anything that basically affects the content that's in the beta will get pushed live. Especially class changes. So any class changes we make here, as we continue to patch the beta, we try to pull it up to the current build. But we don't intend to add new content. So we're not going to go in and say, let you play the rest of Act 1 or any of those things. And that's just because we are incredibly protective of the story. We literally stop the beta right before a huge major story.
Yeah. It would just be confusing, I think, for people just to get like any little bit more. Then you'd be like, well, now who's this? What's going on here? And you just like, yeah. So just keeping it nice and closed like it is, it's perfect.
If I can make one request for a level 13 skirmish arena, that would keep me content for months and months and months.
I know it would. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know why that's a bad idea? Because we don't need the entire beta community
To be screaming about balance.
like, this character's not balanced at level 13. And I'm like, well, you're never going to play arenas at level 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Not seriously.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of comments about like, why aren't they putting the arena out there? They've got to be able to balance it. And I'm like, well, not with that level of character.
Right.
Like, it's just, it's kind of, you look at a lot of MMOs, like when they balance their PvP, they just don't work that hard on balancing the trip to max level because
Doesn't matter.
and so that kind of scrutiny I think would actually just be a big distraction for us, and it would hurt our ability to. It's one of the things we always have to weigh is that everything takes time, even getting feedback. Like feedback is one of the most time consuming things that we do. So when we put something out, we not only have to make time to support it and get it out there, but also get feedback on it. V for victory.
Peace out.
So, what do you guys think about the randomization of the game? Are you happy with what you guys have been able to accomplish? I mean, as far as levels and items, everything, anything.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with where we're at right now, especially with the dungeon stuff. I think like the exterior, the events and things that we put in have really that really changes it up a lot. So, but I think like overall we're really happy with how much randomness there is, and I mean people at the company are just playing this thing like crazy, and I mean just over and over and over again, and it just seems like we got it right. So we're pretty happy.
In terms of touching on that, in terms of the level progression, is it sticking along the same path as it is in the beta, where the outdoor areas are fairly linear with those pockets randomization,
Yes.
and then the dungeons are like these set pieces that are randomly kind of dropped into place? Is that how it's out throughout the game?
The exterior zones, the map edges
Static?
they're fixed, but within there's holes all over the world and places where different events take place, plus the random distribution and
Right.
just
Item randomization. The thing that I'd say the biggest thing, and tell me if this is what it feels like to me as we play through the game, is the early part of the game we actually structure a little bit more because we know it's the tutorial basically.
Right.
As the game progresses, dungeons dominate the distribution a little bit more than exteriors, and that's specifically because dungeons are more random than exteriors.
Yeah, like in the beta, when you're playing that beta, you're not going to get too many of those random dungeons out in the wilderness right now. I think we have like one or two.
Couple, yeah. There's like the well
It's a
under
lot
the
more
something or
frequent.
other, right?
Yeah, we just wanted people to we want to make sure that first content is just very clear. You can just get through it and everybody can figure out what to do. And then later on, there's just there's dozens and dozens. Yeah, there's tons of stuff for you.
You guys want to comment on the, I guess moon physics is what we're calling it now?
Oh, the moon physics.
Have you seen any of those threads?
Yes, I'd love to
Yeah.
comment on that. So there's a bunch of people who don't like the physics on specifically
Yeah.
the barbarian.
Yes.
I completely disagree.
So do I.
I completely disagree, and I love them. They're part of our community, and I appreciate their feedback. But there's not very many times. I think people think, like, oh, you get to this position like game director, you just get your way all the time. No, you don't. You never get your way because you've got all the people on your team, and you've got the community. And this is one area I'm getting my way. Barbarian is going to knock people to the moon. That's one of the things that makes it awesome. And if you don't like it, too bad.
Funny.
Yeah, okay, because I mean logically it makes sense. I mean, if somebody shoots you with an arrow, you're just gonna kind of drop and dive. If somebody beats you over the head with a sledgehammer, I mean, you're going flying, obviously.
It's one of the things that with every class we had to look at and say, what makes this class awesome? And there was really a problem with the barbarian where we thought his skills were really good and his mechanics were really good, but there was something missing. And so it wasn't until basically, we sat down with the tech art department and said, you know what, just crank up his physics. It's a barbarian. He's the Hulk. Let him knock people across the room. We said okay, and as soon as we did that, we never looked back. I was like, he instantly turned around from the class that everybody kind of thought felt the worst to the class that everybody thought felt the best. And so we're not giving that up.
I'm glad that you're taking a firm stance. I mean,
Adds weight to the class.
yeah,
and
it
that's a
definitely
good
does.
thing. So.
I mean, it feels like he's more powerful just because of that.
Yeah. And it's intentional. If you look, the other classes don't. There's definitely cases where they get
Yeah,
some
like I
big
think
physics,
the
but
wizard electrocute or something like that. You'll send like one of the zombies or something, like the smaller, lighter
the chunks
guys.
will explode
Yeah.
pretty big. Wave of Force does a pretty good push.
Right, okay.
So there's stuff like that, but the barbarian, nobody gets to knock people around like that.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, thank you for your time, guys.
our
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thanks.
Always great to talk to you guys.